Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to day 26 of the challenge, 30 inks, 30 days, that is put on by Ink Journal, and I'm participating. And here's my color for today. This is Krishna Black Rose. It's a beautiful ink. I've heard it referred to as purple, but if that's the case, then I'm either colorblind or partially unable to think this through or something. But anyway, we'll get a good close look at this. First, let's go ahead and start the bath test, because this can be happening while I'm talking. Okay, and oop, I see pink coming out. I see pink right away. And then this is yesterday's Diamine Blue Pearl, completely gone. Unlike some of the shimmer inks, which left behind more of a black base or gray base, it didn't leave anything, so that's interesting, I thought. So there's that. Let's move this aside and just get right in here, because got a lot to say about this one. Okay, so I'll give you a peek at the little main chart here. Just 4 little lonely spots left, and we'll have all 30 filled in. And here it is, right down here. Kind of looks mauve on here, but we're getting a good accurate color reading today, which is, it's either the color, or it's the lighting, or it's maybe a little of both. So I don't know, but I'll take it. That's why I thought I'd jump on right now, because things look good. Okay, so this was my first writing in here, but the mistake I made, I wrote a letter first that had needed to go out into a packet. And so I had kind of written it almost to where it needed a dip, because I'm using my Serendipity hybrid pen, which has the fountain pen nib and feed. So it got real pink looking here, and you can see that, I can tell. But I went ahead and dipped it and continued. There's no chance to do it over, since I don't want to mess this book up. And there you have it. This is the most drastic difference I've seen in any other color, where when it fades, it really is done. You know, it fades quite drastically. So then when I put the new ink in, you could see how much darker it looked, and looks almost burgundy-like or something like that. So interesting too that it did this on the Tomoe River paper. It comes out with some sort of gold sheen that takes over the color even on that paper. And we'll notice in a minute that it does dry a lot lighter on different kinds of paper. So this is an interesting ink. This is not boring by any means. And here it's looking fairly normal when I did the little fill in at the beginning. So let's get right into the samples so you can see how it did. Here's the Cafe Note with Tomoe River paper from Nanami Paper Company. And it did another, you know, I had just dipped it, and you can see, I'm sure already, that here we're dark over here and much pinky or light over here. And that's an accurate portrayal. That's not the light paint playing tricks on us. And you see how it dries a lot lighter than it did on the Rhodia. My gosh, I should hold that up. Let's see if I can. I'm not sure if I can do that or not. Well, here we go. Let's do it kind of sideways. See how it dried on that? Now that's pretty accurate. I mean, I dipped it again because I needed to before I started in here. So it just dries lighter on the Tomoe River paper. It gets a sort of a dark, you know, it has the pink and the sort of color in it, the base color, and then it has either, I'm not even, it looks like mud almost, you know. It's very interesting. And I'm not saying that to pick on it at all. I like it very much. It's real pretty. But it did take I've never seen another ink do that drastic of a drop off like that in the pen. So this might not be the pen for this ink, but this is what I'm doing to compare all the inks with the same pen. So, and I'm doing real good. I had one minor little foot cramp last night, but I'm really pleased with my weight dropping off. That's just, oh my goodness, I'm like down 13 pounds, and it wasn't budging forever. So let's get right into these envelopes. First, this is the Claire Fontaine Triumph envelope, and it looked real good on there. The ink isn't disappearing quite the way it usually does, so that'll be interesting. I still wouldn't want to trust it probably on an envelope, but I'm not sure. Maybe with a little tape over it. And then on the AMPAD, it's the same thing. Oh boy, I started out real messy on there. But anyway, it feathered, and that's what we're seeing every day. but it behaved well on everything else. I was really pleased with it. And you could see how nice and dark it looks here. It didn't do, this is Leuchtturm paper out of a dot grid 1917 bullet journal. Nice and dark, no bleed through whatsoever. And it also looked nice on Clairefontaine. Dried just a little lighter on that. Let's see. Or maybe that's, no, that did dry just a tad lighter on the Clairefontaine. There's also the fact that this is white, so I need to remember that. Even our eyes, like the camera, see things differently depending on what color. Okay, on the CVS caliber paper, it did almost what it did on the Tomoe River paper. It dried really light, and you could see those dark parts more than you could see the bright. Let me hold that up, you know, to kind of compare. You see the difference? There's the Leuchtturm, and there's the CVS caliber paper. It definitely dries lighter on some of the paper, and it brings out more of different parts of the color. Wish I was a little more, you know, knowledgeable about why that is, but it's very interesting. Here's Office Depot, the cheapy college ruled notebook, and it looked good on there. It's kind of middle of the road. You see a lot of the shading, but you still see a lot of that beautiful kind of mauve color. I call it mauve. I don't know what it is. Rose type color. I think it's well named, this ink. I really do. So there's that. Oh, I got to go backwards in a minute because I got to tell you about where it's available and stuff. I forgot about that. Getting a cart before the horse. And this is Rhodia Dot Grid. And it looks good on here. Again, a lot of shading. I can see it a little better with my eye than you can on the camera. But good shading, and it looks nice. And, of course, that's real ink resistant. Let's get into here again because I did want to... You may have read it, but I wanted to point out that I did find it at... I found the ink at Vaness1938.com, that pen shop there, for $6 for a 20 milliliter glass little bottle of it. So that's interesting, and I like that. I really like it when you can get a smaller quantity and you can have more ink that way, really. And that's why I'm such a nut over samples. But here lately, I've been doing so much writing that definitely 2 milliliters doesn't cut it, and usually 3 doesn't. So I usually double up when I order them if I know that I'm likely to like an ink. But I think that's just a nice amount of ink. You know, 20 milliliters and $6. So that was that. Okay, so I had it kind of easy, which was good because I've got so much else going on too. But I had already done this comparison when we did the Kobe No. 6 Bordeaux. So I put the little fountain pen clip here on today's ink. This is Krishna Black Rose. I hope I'm saying that right. Krishna. It's something like that. Anyway. I'm thinking this is made in India. I hope I'm not wrong, though. I'm just using memory now and not notes. That's not good. But there it is. And I didn't really categorize it in my purples, but I think that I saw it on another website. I saw it say something about it being a primarily purple color, and I was puzzled, but that's just me, and that's just what I have here, you know, in my collections. It just seems to kind of go in with these kinds of inks. The darker maroon, what I would call maroon, or, you know, I don't know. It doesn't seem to fit really, really closely to any of my other inks, but it's just beautiful. And the fact that it does all of this, hopefully you could see that around. Yeah, it does all that sheen and that gold and black edging, and wow, it's just an amazing ink. It really is. It didn't do quite as much of that on here, but you can still see some of that sheen. It's really, really sheeny, if that's a word. Anyway, I love it. And I'm sure some of you have probably inks that may match better, or that are, you know, might make it make sense out of the base colors. I just think it's really neat. So, I think that's pretty much covering it for what we usually do. Except that this is interesting. Let me hold that right up. It's not completely losing its color, and or you know, you could still read it. And normally when that happens, that's the case tomorrow morning, but we'll see when we do tomorrow. And I've got the answer to a big puzzle that I had the other day. And some of you may already have realized what my mistake was, but I don't know if you remember, but the other day, let's see which color it was that we were doing. that permanent. We were doing Vaness document fog gray, and I was looking for Noodler's 54th Mass, and I had this paper floating around here, but I couldn't find the sample. This paper wasn't on the ring, but it was already labeled with day 27, you know. I mean, so anyway, somehow Noodler's 54th Mass, which is tomorrow's color, that's what I'm trying to get at, had been separated from here, and I was actually thinking that this was the color, the next one for tomorrow. But it's a good thing I looked on the back and saw the number and realized, oh, so then I had to go all the way back into here to find out what the ink actually was for tomorrow. And so I looked on there, and day 27 said, Noodler's 54th Mass. I said, oh, I don't have any of that. But oh, yes, I do. I have it in the rack with the other 30 inks, 30 days. So I think this challenge is starting to get to my brain or something. You know, I don't know why I had that pulled out. Maybe I had it pulled out because it looked like fog gray, but then I never could find the sample because I forgot that it was part of 30 inks, 30 days. Okay, I'm going to quit before you guys think I'm completely flaked out. But I'm not. It's just that there's ink everywhere. There's pieces of paper on the floor. There's, you know, I think mostly I get to tidy up more between videos. And this has just been kind of like, if I'm going to keep up with my letter writing and my other stuff, I have to sort of cut corners. So good thing that I didn't just sort of skip over. So I will see you guys tomorrow with Noodler's 54th Mass, and I'm glad I still have some sample of it to use. So see you tomorrow. Thanks for bearing with me on this long series, and I really appreciate you being here, and all your comments kind of have really got me to stick with it and stay with the series. So we've just got such a short time left, really, and it's fun. We're not going to stop the fun, but the intensity is going to dial down just a little, which will help me because there's inks here that I haven't even swatched yet, which is really strange for this household. So 4 left, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Bye for now.